He saw a dark figure moving in and out of every room in that compound at night, reaching into each tenant's body and taking out a small flickering light that looked like a shining star. The dark figure swallowed the star and disappeared. Hello, besties, new subscribers and returning viewers. Welcome back. I am thrilled you are here because we are about to dive into another thrilling journey together. Tonight, we are venturing into a tale that is not for the faint of heart. So dim the light, lock your door, hold on tight, because this story will lead you into shadows where secrets are buried, and it will chill you to the bones. Once you step into this tale, there is no turning back. Are you ready to face what lurks in the dark? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also like and comment. Now get ready. In the streets of Onitsha, Anambra State, Nigeria, stood an old house known as house number 17. In that street, the building was modest, but held an inexplicable charm that made passerby stop and take a second look. It was a very cheap and affordable house, and the price is what also draws people's attention to the house. For those who lived in Onitsha, house number 17 was an open secret. Stories floated around about the compound. It's where people arrived, full of dreams, but left with shattered lives. Its landlord, Chief Ucho KK, was a man of charm and charisma, well loved by everyone who knew him on the surface. His laughter was loud, his smile was wide, and he was very generous with his neighbors and acquaintances. He had the image of a good, devout Christian. He goes to church every Sunday. But beneath our welcoming demeanor, there lurked a secret as dark as the night. Chief Uche was known for his incredible wealth. He owns a motor parks business. He always had more money than seemed possible. And even when the economy waved, he continued to thrive. Those who dared whispered, claimed he was feeding off his tenants' lives and destinies. He was the only man that drives all kinds of car in that compound. None of his tenants owns a car. If you already own a car and you park into that compound, you will end up selling it for one problem or the other. But rumors were just rumors, or so everyone thought. But it's just Chief Uche who is the only successful person with money in that compound. Chief Uche is always offering advice and listening ears to his tenants that are always going through hard times or struggling financially. Year to year, the tenants could only save up just the house rent of Chief Uche and end up giving everything to him at the end of the year, with them not achieving any other thing in that compound. In that compound lived a tenant named Chika, a young lady with dreams of becoming a fashion designer. She moved into house number 17 after finding the rent surprisingly affordable. Chief Uche had warmly welcomed her, even offering her a small discount to help her settle in. But within months, things took a dark turn. Chika's business, which had been flourishing, suddenly collapsed. Her fabrics would go missing. Customers complained of mysterious stains on their order, and her designs never seemed to turn out right. She prayed as she could, but no breakthrough. Her friends and customers deserted her, whispering that her misfortune was a bad luck. Eventually, Chika was left broken and with barely enough to her name. Again, another of a tenant called Emeka, a trader who dealt in electronics, was the next to fall into the trap of house number 17. Drawn by the cheap rent, he moved in with his wife and young son. For the first few months in that compound, things were very fine, and Emeka's business thrived as usual. But one day, out of nowhere, his goods were seized at the port due to some reasons that doesn't make sense. His suppliers backed out for strange reasons. Emeka's debt piled up. He could barely feed his family. They now struggle and live from hand to mouth. He could not pay his son's school fees. He doesn't even have the money to pack out of the compound. All he does is save money for house rent and give it to the landlord, and the landlord will always console him. Emeka, my brother, everything is going to be fine. I always encounter problems in my business too. So please just hang in there. And very soon, everything will return to normal. And Emeka will always believe him. The landlord will always give him and his family foodstuffs, and also to some of his struggling tenants. And they will always thank him and praise him for being a good man. This has been the fate of everyone in that compound. It was as if they were all trapped in an invisible cage that cannot be escaped. The oddness didn't stop with bad luck. At night, strange noises filled the air. Tenants spoke of footsteps echoing around the courtyard at midnight. Soft whispers that sent chills down their spine. And the constant cry of a baby, even though there was no newborn baby there, gets to them and gets them worried and scared. They sometimes, most of them, go outside at night looking for the noises or where the cries were coming from, but found only empty shadows and the mocking stillness of the compound. Finally, the story of house number 17 took a turn when Namdi, a young and ambitious businessman, came in. Namdi had come to Onitsha from Enugu with big dreams. A young businessman wanted to expand his growing food supply business in the markets of Onitsha. He had saved every naira to rent a small but clean apartment. And Chief Ucho Koke's compound, house number 17, seemed perfect. The landlord, Chief Uche, welcomed him with open arms, even reducing the first month's rent to help him settle in. Namdi was grateful and couldn't believe his luck. Namdi was a faithful Christian who also came from a prayerful family, especially his mother. When he moved in, he was very happy. He saw the landlord as a father figure in that compound. The landlord offered him a handshake with a smile on his face and said to Namdi, "You are destined for greatness, my boy." There was something off and odd about the young man that the landlord thought to himself. But he couldn't seem to place it, but he ignored the feelings.
Hey besties, hope you are enjoying the story. Please pause to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Thank you.
For the first time in few months, Namdi's business flourished. It picked up and he was earning enough to save for future and was sending home to her mother. Everything was moving fine for almost a year. But just as he was about to feel so comfortable, things started to fall apart. Like others, things changed. His orders were delayed or lost. His suppliers became unreliable. And the truck he used in carrying goods broke down. Money started missing mysteriously in his shop. His cheerfulness began to fade, replaced by unexplained frustration. He one day confided in his landlord, thinking he would get help. His landlord promised to help him with some money, and he also gave Namdi something to sprinkle in front of his shop to attract customers. The money the landlord gave him was squandered mysteriously, and the problems became worse. He couldn't even renew his shop and house rent, even though Chief Uche told him not to worry and take his time to pay him. He started borrowing money everywhere. Things were really bad for him. Strange things started happening in his apartment as well. At midnight, he heard what sounded like a heavy breathing just outside his door, followed by faint footsteps circling his window. He would jump out of his bed, his heart pounding. Sometimes he would hear strange humming in his window, or he would hear strange baby cries that midnight. He would sometimes pick the courage to check, but there was no one there. Every midnight, it's always one disturbing sound or the other in that compound. Some tenants claim to hear it, but some don't. Namdi's nights were always restless. One day, his mother called to know how he was doing, and he broke down and told his mother everything he has been passing through in his business and also the restless night and strange occurrence in his house. His mother said to him, "Namdi, my son, hope you always pray. Please start praying, and if there is any good church close to your house, I will advise you start going to the church. Keep praying, my son. If you don't pray, the evil one will make mess of your life. I will always put you in my prayers, my son. And I will send you foodstuffs and some money so that you can feed first. Everything will be fine soon, my son. Do not worry. God is with you and He is in control." He thanked his mother, said his goodbyes and hanged up. Nnamdi sat in his room and started thinking. That was when it occurred to him that since he packed into this house, that he have never for once prayed or go to church. He found that very strange. The small time he remembered to pray, he would end up falling asleep. He decided to get back on his feet of praying and go to church. Nnamdi started going to church. During one of the services one day, the pastor sighted Nnamdi and went straight to him, placed a hand on his shoulder, looking at him firmly and said to him, "Child of God, someone close to you is draining your spirit and stealing your blessings. The root of your troubles lies where you live. You have to wake up every midnight and pray. Declare words and prophesy in your life. Pray against the plans of the evil ones in your life and keep doing it. Keep praying until something happens." Nnamdi was skeptical but unsettled. Who in his house is after him? But everyone is nice. They are even struggling like me too, he said to himself. Even the landlord is a good man and a good Christian. Who could that be? But he woke up every midnight to pray. He prayed earnestly, hoping for clarity. Then one night, he had a vivid dream. In that dream, he saw a dark figure moving in and out of every room in the compound at night, reaching into each tenant's body and taking out a small flickering light that looks like a shining star. The dark figure swallowed the star and disappeared. He would wake up with fear, but he would start praying immediately. He would always pray and ask God to reveal that dark figure to him. One night, he had the same dream, but this time, Namdi recognized the figure. It was Chief Ucho, his good, kind, and ever-smiling landlord. He returned to the church the next day and told the pastor everything. And the pastor confirmed his suspicions and encouraged him to keep praying every midnight and to resist any kindness his landlord offers him. Namdi kept praying every midnight, asking for God's protection and his blessings to be restored. As weeks went by, Chief Ucho's behavior shifted. His visits to Nnamdi's apartment stopped. He was no longer friendly with Nnamdi. At night, the strange sound increased, accompanied by a faint ghastly laughter that seemed to echo from nowhere and everywhere. The other tenants started to notice the same thing. Some of them, like Emeka and Cheka, and some few tenants joined Nnamdi in the midnight. praying in their room. After having the discussion with Namdi, hoping to break the grip of despair that bound them in that compound. One night, Namdi felt a strange presence in his room. A cold air settled around him. Suddenly, he felt hands reaching out from the darkness and wrapping around his neck. He was struggling to breathe. He called on the name of God, fighting to stay conscious. The grip loosened, and he jumped up from the bed and started praying. The next morning, he confronted Chief Uche, but praying in his heart. And Chief Uche said to him, "You should stop this nonsense," he hissed. "It's for your own good. Do you think your prayers will save you? I have dealt with people bigger than you. So be careful, my boy. Don't bite more than you can chew." He left, leaving Nnamdi standing lost and weak. That was when Nnamdi realized the kind of person his landlord is. He secretly informed a few tenants about the midnight prayer that they were going to have with his pastor that night. The pastor came that midnight and led Nnamdi and the tenants in a powerful prayer. They singed and prayed with all their hearts, calling on God for help. All of a sudden, they started hearing banging of doors, laughing and screams. They strongly continued praying. Then they heard a painful scream coming from a familiar voice, and it was Chief Ucho Keke. He was seen screaming and asking them to stop praying, but they continued. Then suddenly he started confessing, saying how he takes his tenants' destiny and stars for his own selfishness and for more wealth. Suddenly, he ran out of the compound that night, and no one knew where he ran off to. Few days later, everyone in that compound started getting their life back. It was as if they were released from a cage. Their business started moving well. They were all grateful to God and thankful to Namdi for opening their eyes. Namdi and the rest of the tenants moved out of that house, and it became empty and cold like a graveyard. Namdi was careful of the next house he was moving into. He forever remained grateful to God for saving him and others, and promised to serve God forever. As for Chief Ucho Keke, no one knew or heard about his whereabouts again. He had no family, he never married. House number 17 crumbled. His wealth and charm vanished overnight. The house was forgotten by everyone in Onitsha, left to rot as a haunting reminder of the greed and dark powers that had consumed it. But the story of Nnamdi with his prayers and the other tenants became popular in Onitsha. A tale of darkness defeated by light, and of a young man who had the courage to confront the shadow that had claimed so many before him. Morals of the story: not all that glitters are gold. This story reminds us that appearances can be deceiving, just like how Chief Uche uses his cheap house and kind and generous look to mislead people, hiding his true intentions. We should always be careful in how we choose things. This story also reminds us the power in praying. We should always pray. Pray until something happens. Put everything in prayer. Put God first in everything we do, no matter what. No matter the challenges we face, we will come out victorious. Always have faith in God, and may God never allow us enter into a big problem that is too big for us. We should also protect our lives and daily activities to avoid evil forces, both physical and spiritual, influencing in our daily journey if we aren't vigilant on prayer. There is power in prayers. We will always reap what we sow, both good or bad, no matter what. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. And also leave a comment because I love seeing your comments. And also turn on your notification buttons for more new videos. Till next time, guys. Bye.